Hey there everybody, this is Mr. Lewis. I wanted to show you some cool examples of our next project. We're going to be making coil-built functional pots. You could turn it into a mug, kind of like our first project. It'll have a different appearance, or you could turn it into something completely unique as you see in these examples. The coils that we're going to use are rolled out of pieces of clay into long, skinny, snake-like shapes, and then we can change them or just simply layer them up vertically, layer by layer, and create something incredibly cool and functional like you see in these examples. Are you ready? Here we go. You're going to need some special supplies for this project. We're going to need to grab some rolling pins and guide sticks and canvas, and those are in the corner of the classroom over by the windows, as you can see right here. There are the rolling pins, the guide sticks in the tub, and then right next to them in the shelf is the canvas. That's where you'll find all the things you need for now. When you're grabbing your supplies, make sure you grab either the purple-ended 3/8 inch guide sticks or the baby blue 1/2 inch guide sticks. Make sure the bottom of your coil-built pot is thick enough. Set up your workstation so the guide sticks are laying on the canvas and your rolling pin is ready to use when you're ready to grab your clay. Okay folks, if you've got your workstation set up, your canvas is ready, guide sticks and rolling pin, then it's time to grab some clay. You're going to probably want to use the wire cutting tool, also called a ribbon tool, to slice off just as much clay as you think you're going to need. If you have a little bit extra, it's okay because we're going to be rolling it out into a slab and then using any extra to start rolling our coils. If nobody else is going to grab any clay after you, go ahead and close the bag. You can either twist tie it closed again or just flip it upside down so the end of the bag is tucked under the weight of the clay. It's just a good practice to help us keep the clay from drying out. If you've got your clay and you're ready to begin the slab rolling process, what I'd like you to do is make sure that it's thicker than the guide sticks. So that's why I'm folding this piece of clay in half. To make sure that I've got something that I can roll out and get the flat nature that a slab needs to have. With the clay in between the guide sticks, I'm ready for the rolling pin. It's a good idea to make sure that you don't roll too much too fast. That's why I'm kind of taking my time here. It's good practice when you're rolling out slabs to not just roll in one direction and on one side, so I like to flip the clay over and turn it 90 degrees as I continue rolling it flat. I might do this a couple of times before I get to the 3/8 inch or 1/2 inch thickness, but it is good practice and it does prevent warping as the clay starts to dry.
I could be you, could be me. I can walk a mile in your shoes. You can walk a mile in my bare feet. What I be is what I be. What I be is what I be. What I be is what I be.
When you can't change the thickness of the clay anymore because the rolling pin is just simply rolling on the guide sticks, take those two tools and put them away. We're ready for some more steps. Another tool you might need is something called a stamp, where you can basically cut out a specific shape and size out of the slab that you've rolled out previously. Here's a square stamp. I'm going to use that later. Along with the stamp, there's a couple cool things you can do to get a basic shape that you'd like for your slab bottom of your coil built project. I'm actually doing something different and cutting out a template from a piece of paper. I drew a triangle on this piece of paper and I'm going to use it as a guide for cutting out a small triangle from this slab. If you're using a paper template, you need a couple tools to help you cut this shape out of the slab of clay. They're located over here on the corner of my table. We've got needle tools, blades or scoopers, and fettling knives. I think I'm going to use a needle tool for this trick. If I've got my template and my tools, I can go ahead and start cutting the shape out of the clay. I think I'm going to try to get two different bases out of this clay, so I'm going to adjust this and give myself a little bit more room. With the paper flattened on the clay, I'm going to use the point of the needle tool and pull it along the edge of that paper triangle, and that will slice all the way through the clay down to the canvas. And when I'm done, I'll have a triangle based on the template that I've designed. Since I'm making a couple of examples, I'll take a little bit of this slab and use one of the stamps. Hold it over the clay, push it down on both sides, and then you can pop that sucker right on out and push down on the plunger, and there you go. Perfect square. Now for working with coils, you're going to need a couple of extra supplies. You're going to need some slip and a scoring tool and possibly even a paintbrush to apply your slip. If you couldn't tell, all those tools were over on the countertop. Since I've already grabbed everything I need and my slabs are all cut out in the shapes of the bases that I'm going to start with, now it's time to learn how to roll a few coils out. Make sure you've got some good slip that isn't too thick. If it's got that kind of water sitting on the surface, it's probably pretty nice. I grabbed one of the serrated ribs for my scoring tool and a paintbrush that'll help me keep my hands relatively clean. Now I saved some of the extra clay from when I cut those slabs and those shapes out, and I'm going to use this because it's still soft enough. I'm going to start by kind of squeezing or rolling the clay in my hands before I do the tabletop slab rolling technique. Now I've got a lot of practice doing this. I've been teaching this for years, so don't feel too bad if some of your coils don't turn out as neat and perfect as this one does. What you're trying to shoot for is something that's relatively the same thickness as maybe your index finger or your pinky finger. Certainly not as thick as your thumb. That might be a little too thick. But once you've got the coil rolled out on the table, you can decide which part of your base you're going to start on. I start by using the first S in the 4 S's, the scoring tool, to scratch or score all around the surface where my first layer of coils will be added.
It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Don't tell me that you don't care.
As soon as all the scoring's done on the surface of the piece that I cut out of the slab, I'm ready to start scoring the coil that I'm going to build with.
Than any other. No sister worth less than any brother. No life's worth more than any other. No sister worth less than any brother.
When the scoring's done on the coil, I'll make sure to add slip where either the coil is going to go or I can add slip to the coil itself. Either one is good as long as there's slip in between the pieces of clay that you're joining together. As soon as I've got my slip applied, then I'll start thinking about how I want to add this first layer. I might break it into pieces and start applying those pieces to the different sections of the triangle. It might be kind of hard to make this look nice if I wrap the coil around the skinny corners. So I think I'm going to kind of tear this off into different sections and build with those separately.
Somebody please send us a prayer.
Now I'm doing this pretty fast because I sped it up, but each time I'm using those coils, I might realize that the coil that I want is not long enough. So I'll slow down and adjust the thickness. I'm rolling from the fingertips to the base of my palm, nice and even so that the coil stays round and doesn't get squished from too much downward pressure. Rolling out coils, scoring and slipping them down each time you create a new layer takes a while, so I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just a bit so I can get to the next section that I need to share.
To the east, to the west, one love, people never gonna stop. One to creation, one to the sun, one to the morning, one to the one. One to the air and the freshness we breathe in. One to the force of the change.
Alright, after you've got a couple, maybe 2 or 3 layers built up, it's time to compress them so that they form a stronger bond. And after that, we're going to take some time to show you how to smooth some of these together. Here I am just kind of holding the layers together vertically and then compressing, kind of holding on either side of those layers with a couple of fingers and then compressing with my other hand. Again, this is just to create some added strength and join those pieces of clay with a little bit more integrity.
One love, people never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. To the east, to the west, to the north and south.
Okay, so there's lots of different things that you can do with this coil building method. You can make works of art that have the texture of the coils revealed on the outside and inside, where you're not really doing any cleaning up, you're just kind of carefully building. But for this example, I wanted to show you how to blend and smooth the clay on the inside and outside of your project if you want a smooth exterior and possibly a project that could be watertight on the interior. So I'm using the serrated rib or scoring tool to scratch the surface of the clay, which mixes and blends the different layers of coils, and the very bottom layer, which is actually a slab, it mixes them all together. And again, when they're dry, they will be a much stronger, evenly blended set of materials instead of all these separate layers. Okay, in super duper fast mode, all I'm doing here is kind of finishing the blending technique that I shared with you earlier with the serrated rib. And now I'm using a few different methods to clean up those scoring marks, both on the inside and outside. Once I'm completely done scoring and blending that clay together, I'm going to use either my finger or the flat side of that serrated tool, or I can even maybe use a wet sponge if I wanted to smooth everything out and clean it up. But just even that flat side of the scoring tool does a pretty darn good job. Hey, there's my magic sponge. I'm going to use that to clean up the bottom and sides of this piece that I've scored and smoothed. And then I think I'm going to grab a special tool, very rare, an old fork. This is perfect because that handle allows me to get to the inside of that triangular piece I'm making and smooth, because those corners are just a little bit tricky for my fingers. Okay folks, that's probably a good stopping point. I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up. If you got at least a couple of layers added with the extra clay from around the base that you cut from the slab, that's a really good place to stop. Make sure that at this point maybe you start cleaning up after yourself, putting away the tools that you got out, wiping down your work surface, and bag your project up, twist and tuck so that it doesn't dry out before you can start adding some more layers next time. Thanks a lot.